Ron Paul saying that one time.
Okay.
I'm not a big Ron Paul fan, but
Hey, folks,
Okay,
welcome
here we
back
are.
to the Trailer Park Show.
hello, folks.
Welcome back, Pokey. He was under the weather for a while here.
I was
and,
back last week. You missed last week.
You missed last
I
week.
know,
You
that's
missed
what
all the
I'm saying.
fun.
I did come back last week. Yeah, this is
I
only.
wanted to welcome you back.
Thank you.
You should have been here last week. You should have been here last week. It's like saying happy belated. It's like saying happy birthday like a month later.
I'm pretty sure our
I still got
medical
two
staff
more.
took care of you real well down in South Austin.
Yeah, I spent Christmas in the hospital. Got out New Year's Eve. I didn't even go out to see fireworks, of course. And
didn't
now
miss
I'm
much.
on this so many pills a day for so many weeks until the 27th when I have to go see my VA doctor. And they'll tell me if I'm going to live or die or whatever, you know.
Well, we'll go ahead and do the death panel for you shortly.
Well,
But it-
unfortunately, the executive committee meeting is coming up Wednesday. And being a precinct, the chair, I'm supposed to come up with some delegates for, first I can't get anybody to run the election. I can't do it. I can't even go to the,
Caucus.
to the caucus, and I won't be working the election at all. I usually work the substation, because even with all this, I couldn't work all day at the poll.
Right.
So I'd work the substation, at least it's something, but now I can't even do that. Because I'm not supposed to be out and breathe in air with other people or something like that, you know, I don't know what they say. But that's coming up on the 15th for our party, and I won't be there for that. Which is kind of, I don't know what to do.
But in the meantime, let's go ahead. We'll talk
Yeah,
about that
we
later
got
on. But in
Margaret
the,
Gomez
but in the
here.
meantime, let's go ahead and introduce the panel that we have here. Obviously, we have Gabino Fernandez Jr. I hope I said that right. From the fine representative from LULAC.
District 12.
District 12. And we also
President,
have
director.
we also have the host James Pokey Ritter, and with us we have Travis County Commissioner Precinct 4 Margaret Gomez.
Correct.
So welcome to the Trailer Park Show.
Thank you.
I
Glad
would like
be
to
here.
start it with, you have a long history here in Travis County. And I don't even know it, but I know it's like 69, you were out there doing something.
In '69, I was out there helping Buddy Ruiz get elected to the city council. And I think that's when I kind of learned how to answer the phones and how to get ready for walks, door to door, and just basically picked up all of the skills that I needed to work on other campaigns. And I did that until I ran in 1980. And so I kind of felt that I knew the ropes, and I could go out there and get a campaign going.
And you went to school local here?
Yes, I grew up in Precinct 4. I've been here all my life. And then I went to the public schools, Becker, Fulmore, and Travis. And then after that, I graduated. I went to work for the state for 10 years. And then in 1973, I came to work for Travis County, and I've been there since. And then when I decided that I needed some college degrees, and I went back to St. Edward's University, which is in Precinct 4. And so I've done almost everything in Precinct 4.
So for those that aren't familiar with the precincts, your precinct encompasses where?
Basically, the southeast quadrant of Travis County.
Okay.
And right now,
You have your microphone on, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we? Oh,
What's
we
the
got
matter?
one here.
Trade you out. That was a little. Hello, everybody. Hi,
oh,
wise one. Hope everything goes well tomorrow.
okay,
Yeah, you know how these microphones are. Sometimes you got a good one. Sometimes you got a lousy one.
yeah.
Not here.
Hey? Oh
No,
no,
not here. No, not here. No, never.
never. Not
Like I
here.
told you, man, live TV, there's always something.
Well, that's okay. That's okay.
That's why it's called the Trailer Park Show.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. So going back to the precinct 4. So it's the southeast portion of Travis County. So that's
Roughly,
So,
yeah, it's south of East 7th,
okay.
and it goes all the way west along Lamar until you get to Ben White, and then, all the way up, actually Menchaca. And then in Slaughter, you come back to I-35, and it's all the way south to I-35. So it goes all the way out to Bastrop County. It hits Bastrop County
And Caldwell.
and Caldwell.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
It's a big area.
I want to go back to your bio. How, if I get this right, you never lost an election.
No, I haven't.
And how many offices do you hold? Just county commissioner?
I ran for Constable Precinct 4 and in 1980, and I was there 13 years. And each year that I was up, I had an opponent. And then in 94, I resigned to run for commissioner, and so I took office in 1995. But I've had opponents every time I run, every single time. But that's what single-member districts are supposed to do. They're supposed to bring out people, in a district.
Yes, ma'am.
So, because it's more possible that they can win.
Well, I know you very seldom have an opponent from my party.
Right.
Every now and then. You don't have one this time. But you do have, what's her name, Darla Wagner? Miss Wagner, Debbie?
Wagner.
Yeah, well, anyway, I did try to get her to come on the show 3 times and got no response. I couldn't quite figure out why not. I was messaging through Facebook. So anyway,
No.
maybe some other time.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenging things for Precinct 4 within the next 4 years
Well,
that you'll be working on?
we have always had an issue with poverty, and also the education, graduation rates, and we always work on those issues all together in the community. And then now it's the equality issue that is coming up, where we really need to pay more attention to the fact that people need to be paid as more equally as possible, so that people can afford to live here.
Right.
$10 Big Mac, people.
So you're in favor of trying to increase,
Minimum
I guess,
wage.
minimum wage or increase the
Absolutely.
wages of low job detailed people.
No, what are the prevailing wage? Is that what they
Prevailing
call it?
wage
Prevailing.
is
So they
one,
call
it-
but
But
the
the-
other one is the living wage.
The living wage,
For-
which is
for
the one
this
that
area.
my friend from the homeless always advocates for. Is that the living wage or?
I never pay any attention to it because all it
You know-
does is
you
it
know-
drives the price of
Well,
goods and
okay,
services up across the board.
let's
so-
say it's a prevailing wage.
All right, use
Okay,
that one.
which, it's the cost of how it's going to, or let's use the living wage, I guess. Living wage is probably going to be something more pertinent with us here.
Yeah,
Because obviously, those people that are familiar with Austin, it's expensive to live here.
it is.
Where you end up having people like myself who I do well in my job, but you have to move out of the city
Yeah.
in order to go ahead and do well.
Right. And living wage is what it takes to live in this area. And some say that it's $16 an hour. And then.
Holy cow, I can
yeah.
live well that.
I want to
Well,
go back
yeah.
to 20 years old again. I remember $1.25 an
Oh
hour.
my gosh, that's incredible, isn't
I was working
Yeah.
Parks and Rec.
And what did a Big Mac cost then?
Oh,
it?
yeah.
I know.
25
Living
cents. 25 cents.
Well, I found
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
the tax receipt from 1979 on my property, and it was $34.
Wow,
A year?
$34 for that one
And now
year.
you're paying what, 4,000
wow.
3,500
for both properties or one?
for that same
Oh,
property.
that same property. Okay. Well,
How does that financial challenge that's facing Precinct 4, how does that affect, or how, your office, how does that impact? Do you get calls from constituents about that ongoing increase in taxes in our community?
It always comes in terms of my taxes are too high. What can you do, or please keep working on trying to keep my taxes as low as possible. And that's all, just about the main issue that people address when I run into them, out in the street, at the grocery store, or at church. And it's always, Margaret, you're doing a great job, but keep my taxes as low as possible.
Now here comes a big question for you on this one. Those individuals that tell you that, are they living in Austin or are they living outside of the city?
They live in Austin.
Okay. Now here goes back to the question. Here goes back to my situation. I do well where I work, but because of the cost of living in Austin itself, I moved out to Manor. And I've said that before, that I live out there, and I do, and I have a pretty good, my daughter and I have a pretty good life out there. And we did that because of the cost of living within the city,
Right.
which is probably something that you can't even do
But you're
or
still
have
in
it some type
Travis
of.
County.
I'm still in Travis County, but not within the city.
Right.
And the problem that comes over, I'd imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, there's a separation into what the county can say, the county can do in tax, and what the city can do in tax. So please tell me if I'm wrong on this comment, but if you have low taxes outside of the county area or outside of the city area, but you're being raked over the coals within the city, wouldn't that be something that would have to be directed towards the city, or as a county commissioner, the county commissioner's office goes to the city and says, look, we've got people that are within my precinct that are being taxed out of their mind. What are you going to do as a city entity
Yes.
to make it better for my constituents?
And I have done that, because the big difference with the city and the county, and why it's more affordable in the county, is because we, as a homeowner, we give you 20% homestead exemption. And then if you're 65 or over, we give you 20% plus 70,000 discount for your homestead. The same thing for disabled, and 100% for veterans. But the city doesn't do that.
Okay.
So it really would make it much more affordable for the city and the county if the city would give those same homestead exemptions.
Right.
And what I'm hoping the 10-1 plan does is that it'll have these different people running from different parts of the city, and if somebody makes a motion to do that, they can do it, and they just need 6 votes to pass it.
True.
And so then the city will be more affordable. So you're right, the people who ask me about that affordability are people who live in the city. And so what I've done when I've walked door to door, they bring up that issue, and I've said, I promise you, I will mention it to the city council people. And I have, but so far nothing has happened.
Because then that's where the living wage ends up kicking in. Because I'll be perfectly honest with you. If we're looking at it from that perspective, there's really not much you can do as a county commissioner. And it's not saying, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm
I
saying
wanted to ask
you're
that.
doing what you can as a county commissioner, because I appreciate it. Trust me, I live in Travis County. I appreciate it. You know, I don't live in your precinct, but I'm happy. You know, I like what I got.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's one of those things where if it's a living wage issue that people are talking about, then they have to direct that to the city, because in looking at what the city's been taxing us, or been taxing the citizens of Austin, it's enough to go ahead and say, well, either I stay or go. And granted, they're looking at trying to improve or trying to make the city a mecca of technology, or whatever you want to call it. To make it that way, you have to determine whether or not you want these the low wage earners
Yeah.
want to live there or not.
Yeah.
And that's going to be one of that for me, at least as a person looking outside looking in.
The other situation happens where people leave the city and they go into the county because it's more affordable. But as soon as in a community like Manor, you know, of course Manor incorporated, so they won't fall under this, but the city can go out and annex
Right.
an area, and then they don't give the homestead exemption, so it's no longer affordable.
Right.
You
And
know.
that'd be something that the city, that community or that
has
city
to
has to do,
Yeah.
has to act in order to prevent that from
I
happening.
know the city has annexed because of F1. How far did they annex? Did
They
they
annexed
go
only
past
the
the Dell
track.
Valley?
No,
Oh, only
only
the
the track.
It's just that one
Yeah,
radius
only the
area.
track.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how has that impacted Precinct 4? During the debate and the discussions, you had your pros and your cons, and I know it was a very, well, it was a decision that you had to make, and what impact has occurred since that vote has
We
taken?
went too fast here
What's that?
on all this. We were supposed to get to F1 later.
Oh, really?
I'm still stuck on this living wage thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, what can you do to raise that?
Well, what we have been able to do is to raise the minimum wage
Yes,
to $11, and so naturally I think it needs to go higher.
We, of course, will disagree on that
obviously.
one for sure,
Well, but I think what we've done
but
with
is there a
raising,
chance that could actually happen?
well, who knows, because the price of everything is going up.
Well, you raise the minimum wage and the price just keeps right on going up, means
Well-
you're right back where you started from.
Well, but we also want people to earn a good living, you know, I mean, a fairly good living.
Yes,
and
ma'am, I
not
understand
have
that
to,
part.
and not have to just work for hardly anything. And then you still have to go out and pay health insurance, you know,
Yeah.
taxes and all that kind of stuff.
Well, the health insurance actually would be almost a moot point, because based on the income that they're receiving, they're either going to be exempted from the individual mandate through the healthcare reform, or they're going to be able to get the subsidies enough to go ahead and help cover.
And, but if we can get people earn enough so they don't have to go there, see, it's a balancing
Yeah,
issue
it really
Well,
as well, you know.
But
from
it's
a-
just gonna raise the price of everything.
Here's,
Well,
you know,
again,
as
you
you
know.
and I, as I explained to both of you, and I explained
We
this.
were
This is how I
talking
said
some
it.
out
We were
in the
talking about it
lobby
earlier.
before.
Okay,
I'm
folks,
kind
this
of
is
a.
Republicans fighting the
No,
Democrats.
no,
on
no.
this
What it
issue,
is,
but
I'm a numbers guy. I'm always been a
I
number
wanna
guy. I'm always
let
looking at.
people know out there.
Oh no! Everybody knows where I stand. Everybody knows where I stand in the whole thing. If they watch the show religiously, all 11 people, and maybe the 12th person is watching right now, they know where I stand. Everybody that knows me knows where I stand with a lot of things. But my concern has always been like it's a bottom line numbers game where if you balance out the sheets, everything's fine. But if you raise one side, you have to figure out how to reduce on the other side. And I'll give an example as to for me now. Correct me if I'm wrong, or people can tell me where I'm wrong in this part. When it comes to the living wage, we've had two examples. I can give you two examples right now where when they increased the minimum wage, one of them to the federal side and one to the state, where the owners of businesses had made already on record, have said either I'm going to have to raise prices to go ahead and cover my cost or let go of people in order to cover the cost. For example, in El Paso, when they raised the minimum wage to $7.25 an hour, there was a female business owner who owned a restaurant said, I have to either raise it or raise prices or go ahead and drop employees. In Washington, it's already been a record where one of the representatives said, look, we may have to let go, some people may have to lose their jobs, but we're going to have a prevailing wage. And the problem that comes up on that part is, what are you going to do with those individuals? And
Nonetheless,
and it would come back to the county as saying, okay, or come back to whatever elected official saying, you wanted this. You wanted to raise the prices. You wanted to raise the wages on people who are burger flippers or vacuum cleaners or whatever the case may be. You wanted to raise the wages so that they can go ahead and have a living wage. Yet person A, B, and C over here are no longer working. What are we doing to go ahead and get them a job?
Can we go back to Precinct 4 and let Rush Limbaugh here rest for a while?
Mr. Rush Limbaugh, yeah. He is used to the radio. He gets along with it. The point I'd like to ask you
I love the sound of my own
say,
voice.
What's the chances that the county could do that here in Austin or in Travis County? And do you think you have enough support to get something like that passed?
Well, we have already raised the lowest that our county employees can make is $11 an hour. And so
County employees only,
yeah, because that's all we have control on.
10-4.
But when we have these economic incentive programs, and basically we help businesses that come here, and we sometimes we rebate their taxes or we
Yes,
abate
ma'am.
them. So
Like
they're-
Samsung.
So they're getting a benefit from the taxpayers in Travis County. And I think what the argument has been, let's let the other side also benefit from that kind of package.
They have to have
And so-
certain standards.
Sure,
on
you
their
know,
way.
and that way, if they we don't want them falling
Well, I
and
could-
killing, losing their lives.
I can
you
see
know,
that
and
part.
so we have to kind of balance this deal.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
know, a little bit more.
So on going on that part, we
Uh-oh,
we
there he
have
comes
the,
again.
no we have the mayor for life, Leffingwell, who has
That
talked.
mayor for life?
Well, okay,
Laughingwell?
Leffingwell, yes, we have the mayor for life, and I call him mayor for life because he's been here forever. When it comes to the rebates, he has gone on record saying that there has been money being generated because of that. There has been revenue going to the city, based on from what you know. For the county, has that happened for the county as well?
Is it worthwhile?
Yeah, is it worthwhile? Is it worthwhile the effort?
Well, I mean, that's the question that I have had. You know, how many of these can we do before we start really shifting the tax burden over to the homeowners?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because when someone doesn't pay taxes, somebody else has to pick that up.
Especially when
know.
it's a big place like that.
Yeah, and so, but I've never really gotten an answer, you know, it's one of those questions that floats, you know, and you never really get an answer, but I have a feeling that the tax burden is a little bit unfair. And so, okay, so the next best thing that we can do is at least let's bring some equality so that both sides, the workers and the companies, receive, you know, some benefit
Right.
from this.
And this would be in regards to individuals that or businesses that are opening within the county.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I've always favored it, using Samsung as an example.
I know you
don't know.
or the court voted to buy homes in Dove Springs. Can you tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
what relief those?
We are going to get back to F1 and the gun show and the new courthouse.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-oh, I guess we
The
have
Dove
better.
Springs.
But the
That's
flooding,
right.
the flooding
Flooding.
in Precinct 4 has something that has happened throughout the years. And I'm told, and I was shown the maps, it's the topography of the county that determines that flooding. And it's almost as if everything flows down into Precinct 4 like a funnel. So all of that
Onion
water
Creek.
goes into Precinct 4, and it's always flooded. But lately, with this latest Halloween flood, it went up the highest that it's ever gone, 41 feet. You know, so it covered more areas that were not flooded before. So what we have done, and because I think we're committed to that, is that we need to buy out some more homes for those families who have flooded. And Timber Creek is an area that has flooded before. This time, more of the area flooded. And so we're going to buy, you know, and I don't have the total numbers, but we have the money to do that. Then the new area that flooded was Bluff Springs. And over here, you
So
know where
Robert
that is.
and them are-
Yeah, Bluff Springs. And then it went.
Where we worked.
It went north to Precinct 3, and it picked up Arroyo Doble and Twin Creeks. We had built a Twin Creeks bridge over there. It was really nice. It just flooded.
Flooded away.
Yeah, and so I think we're found about $2.1 million to address the new areas, so we can begin buying those out. But again, you know, it's a funny thing in Travis County. You know, whatever money we settle with them, and we're not going to cheat them. We're going to give them what is fair.
Fair market.
Fair
You know,
market
but
value.
even that, though, is not going to be enough for
No.
them to go get another home in Travis County.
Not in Travis.
Well,
Much less in the city.
Well, in the city, no, but I know some places that are pretty good.
Well-
I'll be perfect. I'm just saying that because I got a really great deal.
Okay, anyway.
But anyway, that's another story together. Not enough about me. But
Some-
before we continue, I just got a message
Right,
from
quickly.
Robert Kibble.
Okay.
Robert Kibbe, sorry.
Uh-huh.
Robert Kibbe, and he wanted to say thank you
Dove
for all the,
Springs.
from Dove Springs, and he wanted to thank you for all the great work you've done to help out with that neighborhood.
Okay.
So.
Thank you, Robert.
I want to go back
Hold on, first,
on the
on some of these houses here, this is the first time they flooded in like how long? Do we really need to buy them out because they flood once every 50 or 60 years, or?
Well, but the thing is that they've been flooded out so badly that they've been badly
This time
damaged.
was
It
pretty
was
bad.
badly damaged, yeah. And some of them are not going to be able to rebuild in the
rebuild or
same
repair?
place. Yeah, so some of them have said, you know, I'll just want you to buy me out.
Is the city helping out with that?
The
as well?
city is helping out with the area that is in the city,
Okay.
which is Dove Springs. And the county's taking care of those areas that are in the county,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, go ahead. Give me
Is it
the-
okay?
Yes, sir. Go by all means.
Go ahead. Then
I
never
remember in
go out in here.
1990 or 91, there was another flood
Yeah.
in the Dove Springs area. I remember
But it
Vic
wasn't this
Aquino and Cristina Chavez, all
Yes,
those people
uh-huh.
that were
Oh,
out there in the Dove Springs area in that era.
Uh-huh.
And I know they were discussing buying homes at that time, and I don't know if they did or they didn't.
Mm.
But in this case, apparently y'all are gonna, the county is gonna buy them. And is that gonna be prohibited from building again, or?
Yeah, we have to because they're actually in the floodway.
Okay.
And if we let them rebuild, then the rest, that would affect the rest of the county residents
more
from
stills.
buying. They wouldn't be able to buy, you know, flood insurance. So if they're in the floodway, we just can't let them rebuild there. And if they do, they have to get up on stilts.
Right, they have to build them
Yeah,
on.
and so that would be
Precinct
expensive.
4, would that be Holly Power Plant?
Yes.
That's in, yeah.
So that's another subject we didn't talk about was what are they gonna do with this land now? Make it into
Park,
a,
it's a park.
Park.
are we all satisfied with that?
Parkland, yes.
Let's skip it and go on then.
Parkland.
I still wanna hear about the
No,
courthouse.
but that's that's a long-term plan that they've been
Is it?
working for, and
So
congratulations.
we're all satisfied there.
We're looking at putting benches out there, you know, along the lake, you know,
So,
people sit down.
The older I get, I can go
And-
sit around
And I'm
out
gonna
there.
make
Yeah.
sure we have one dedicated with your name on
I
it.
like
Kobe.
that, so I can feed the
Grand-
ducks or
the
We
whatever.
can call it the
Yeah.
Pokey Pot.
Grand supporter of the demolition of the Holly Park.
We used to argue about it quite a bit, because I thought it was a
You
great
and,
plan
Oh,
to, you know,
yeah,
produce
sure.
lots of good energy.
Council member,
He's
what was
right.
his name? What is his name? Y'all formed a tag team, what's his name?
Yeah, darn, now you make me think. Anyway, it was, it is better off, the neighborhood is better off without
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It was a lot of energy going to feed over you. Anyway, that's another subject.
F1.
Yeah, F1, the courthouse.
F1 in the
Couldn't say the
courthouse.
gun show for last. Let's go to
Yeah.
F1.
Okay.
Fire some fires at the last.
So how's
Well,
F1 been? How's
yeah,
F1
has
been
it
working?
been, has
Numbers back,
have the
yeah.
promises been delivered?
Exactly.
It got tax exempt helped too, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
did.
Well,
200
it got help from the state.
from the state.
The state, but not from the county, and I
Oh, no,
don't.
we had them on the show, didn't we?
Who?
That was the F1 people. Yeah, they was gonna bring in all kinds of high tech.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All the
Years and years ago.
promises, and I know I've talked to some school board members at Del Valley, and
Not to cut you off like this, but I had to think now again.
So,
but anyway.
Well,
So
they're
how-
bringing in taxes to the Del Valley Independent School District.
Okay.
And they brought in taxes to the library,
Creedmoor.
a district that was created out there in Elroy. So
Okay.
they brought additional, like $800,000 more to the library. And now I understand that families are asking for ESL classes at the library. So I mean, there's gonna be a good effect.
This will be a benefit for the community then.
Yeah, the independent school district is getting additional taxes. I don't know how many millions, but it's an additional.
What was the final agreement on the road? I remember there was the issue about the road, the county pays it and they pay us back and vice versa. What?
That one was an original. The Kellum was there already. Okay, and then when the first race came in, we were told that there were going to be just loads and loads of cars out there, and we thought, well, you know, given the condition of those county roads, how are we going to handle all those cars? And they even said that there were going to be 12-hour delays. People were going to get stuck. So I was like, well, we've got to do something. So the sheriff's office went out there, and EMS staff went out there and worked with the F1 people to try to come up with a good traffic plan. And so based on what they saw out there, the sheriff's office and EMS recommended to us that Kellum, that part of Kellum needed to be expanded a little bit with either another lane and some shoulders so that the EMS vehicles could get through and get to the residents as well as the visitors if they were needed, as well as the fire trucks. And so my concern was, we've got to take care of our residents and visitors one way or the other if they need those emergency vehicles. And so based on their recommendation, we decided to go ahead and fix that part of Kellum. And so we couldn't do it ourselves fast enough. So we contracted with F1 since they were in the business of building roads, those tracks that they built out there. So they built that, fixed up that road, and it cost us $4.1 million. And then when they finished it to our standards, then TNR said they meet our standards. So then we accepted the road and we reimbursed them for what they spent on the road. And so, and then that's how that wound up there.
So that money that's returned will be going to the overall general
Yeah, it
fund,
goes
or
back
does
into
it go
the general
back to
fund.
precinct 4?
Yeah, it goes back, no, it goes to the general fund. Yeah,
I
wish
remember
it
the
did.
big,
I know.
the old days it would go back to the
Yeah,
precinct.
I know.
But,
That would be good, huh?
oh yes, oh yes.
Yeah.
But, you know, as we all know, that side of Travis County has been kind of laid back in development and whatnot because of the
Underutilized,
terrain and all
Yep.
those issues.
And the
So,
flooding.
so when F1 came around, was this kind of like the big dynamic economic thing you expected to see out in Precinct 4, or was there something else that you were obviously looking for?
Well, I think that's the first one that came in. Obviously, I didn't have anything with recruiting them.
Right.
You know, they came there, they got state money, and the way I understand the state gives that money is they expect them to then raise, you know, whatever billions of dollars for this area. And so a lot of the city got some money because they have the sales tax, they have rental cars, they have liquor sales, and a hotel tax. So they got that money. But I also understand that about $14 million was earned by people who serve, like the bars, the hotels, the rentals,
spin-off.
the
By the contractors.
cabs, the cabs. So and they got tips. That was all into $14 million in tips to the working people here, you know, so.
I was looking for some of this high-tech automotive industry to,
Well, and that could be in the future.
some of that.
Yeah, that could be in the future.
I know Gabriel's got a question over there for sure.
oh, no, we're good. I'm good.
Okay.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah,
It's like I said before, mine is always about the bottom line.
yeah.
Well, if I recall, because I did ask the guy, it's been a long time since he was on, but he did say there would be some, because automotive technology, the cutting edge of it is through this race stuff. I mean, it's unbelievable what they do. This is just
Oh,
the force in the cars.
I know that Mexico had a big
Yeah.
presence in
Yeah.
F1. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
they had one
Because they
or,
have so much automotive industry in
one or
Mexico
two
now.
And
charter
then
jets.
drivers as well.
Drivers too?
Yeah, they have two or three drivers, and I think one of the billionaire is one of the owner of Univision. I think
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
he's
He's
the
got a
one.
car?
Well, that one, the one from Mexico.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Well, I know that is the leading edge of
I think they
automotive
had
technology.
two charter jets come in from Mexico during the F1 fiasco.
Yeah.
So
And then
they-
the other thing is
How
I
come I can
had,
have Mexican friends like that?
Well, I don't say they're friends. I just know
I
that
won't
they're
say
friends.
anyway. I won't say why.
but the other thing that I
You
had
guys I did too, huh?
that I consider was the makeup of
We should be
Precinct
going to-
4. You know, there are a lot of, we have a lot of working people, and there's nothing wrong with working
No.
people as far as I'm concerned. You know,
There's
they
no
work
wrong.
hard, and they're dependable. And when they were building that facility, I went out there to visit.
Yes, ma'am.
They had, I mean, it was incredible, the number of workers they had, and most of them were
They put
Hispanic.
it together pretty fast.
They did, and they did a very good job. They did it right the first time, and so I mean they had a lot to be proud of, you know. So
Then they also have like a little
You got motorcycle races out there and
no little labor deal, and they were off for about
Oh.
a week or 2 weeks, and then they came back or something like that.
yeah, there was some kind of labor dispute.
Right.
That's not what they had all your cousins driving trucks out there, was it? Didn't have any license and all?
I'm not real sure.
no.
Oh, no, that was a toll road. Building a toll road.
Oh, that was something different.
Courthouse, downtown.
Yeah, yeah.
Y'all are also engaging in a big.
And we covered,
investment.
we finished now with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
formula, yeah, let's go to courthouse now.
And
Oh, and there's another little part. There's a road that
Oh,
you
that-
know that I kind of got some heat for, and they said that I had done that road for F1. That had nothing to do with F1. It's 2 miles away from where F1 is. And what happened was in March 2011, the landowners of that road, the extension from Pierce to 71,
Okay,
they're old-time ranchers, and they came to see me and they said, we're going to retire, and what I want this land use for is for a road. It says, and they had the warranty deeds in hand. Said, here's the deed for that right-of-way, and it's $2 million worth of right-of-way that they're going to, ready to
hand
give
it over.
us. Yeah, and so they said, but we want a road built here. So I think what's going to happen too is that opens up for some economic development in that area, and so before that, some ladies came to see me, and they said that they really needed a grocery store and a pharmacy in that area. They said we have to go either to Bastrop, 20 miles to Bastrop, or 20 miles to Austin in order to get groceries and get meds. And so some of these folks are older, they need their
Yes, ma'am.
meds, and people need food. It's a food desert out there. And as well in Dove Springs, you know, it's a food desert. So that's why I responded to these folks, and it was, F1 had nothing to do with it. You know, and so therefore people have said, well, F1 should have given money to build this extension. Why? They don't own any land there.
Right.
The land is owned by different landowners, and they're giving the right-of-way. They're donating the right-of-way to the county so that road will get built. Bottom line is, we got the money for it. We contracted with CTRMA, and the building of the extension is on its way.
Very cool. Very cool. So we got the courthouse? Yes.
Oh,
No,
and
I'm
the
good.
courthouse.
We're
The
going to the
courthouse,
court.
we've been working for 3 years on trying to get going on a new civil courthouse. And so I think we spent a lot of time studying it, and it really didn't go too far. There's a master plan, and it really didn't go very far with it. So 3 years later, we're now on the way to try to do this courthouse with a design build, traditional method of delivery on this courthouse. And so we're continuing, and I hope you all stay in touch with what we're doing. We're going to be bringing an RFS forward, and then we'll put it out for bids, and we'll see what comes back. Now, in order to pay for that, it's going to be on the ballot. It has to be, the expenditures for that courthouse are going to have to be approved by the voters.
Right. So now, where would this be located at?
It's at 4th and Guadalupe.
Okay.
We bought that lot. It's the last lot downtown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that that's going to be centrally located, or as centrally located as possible for all.
For all of Travis County.
Okay. And has anybody brought up any concerns about it being too far because, you know, from
Well,
the-
some
the
people,
rural areas?
some people have said that, and other people have said, don't put it downtown, put it somewhere else in another part of the county where land is cheaper. I mean, so there are all kinds of ideas, you know, that are being brought
Where
forward.
land is cheaper, it can be way up.
Well, that's
It'd be in
what
Manor.
some people have said.
or
Yeah,
Elgin.
maybe.
You'd be in or in Elgin. So, but that's not even.
It has to be in
Yeah,
Travis
exactly. I was gonna say, but that's not going to work for anybody there. So, is there an idea or a thought brought up about possibly instead of doing the courthouse there, having based on the cost that it would if it would be cheaper to have satellite offices outside of the area?
Well, I think since we went ahead and bought the lot already, and it's paid for, that's probably the place that it'll go.
We can make it a protest area.
Oh, what?
A protest area. You know, instead of the people that are doing instead of the people doing the protests for a living wage in front of the restaurants, thereby impeding my right to have a burger, they can protest over there, and then I can
price.
at a reasonable price. I can get my burger when I want to, or you know, just a thought.
I'm thinking Ronnie Reefer's, but never mind, we're going there.
So, what are they?
Famous
Have you heard about the potential cost for what it's going to be?
The estimate is 350 million, and voters will get to vote on that.
And would that be based? Would they look at raising property taxes somehow, or what would?
Anytime that you approve bonds, you're basically saying to us, tax me.
You heard her.
Remember that? Yeah.
And you're right, and that's
That's the way
you're
it
absolutely
Our
right. I'm
friend
right.
with the tax, Zimmerman?
Oh, yeah, let's down there with that.
Okay, so it's, that,
So, and that's the other thing, when we talk about affordability and people say taxes are too high, well, how many bond elections have you approved? Have you voted for? Because when you do that, you're telling us, tax me.
exactly.
So we might think
I
about
love
that
that. I
too.
just love that.
Yeah,
I love that. It's just,
I appreciate that you were just,
it's perfectly honest. It's blatantly honest.
I've
Open and honest about
I've
that.
always been honest when I talk to voters and
Nice.
people.
So we'll have to remember that. We're going to cut that little section out,
What,
and we're going to be able to say tax.
that's a good idea, I there. Every time
if you
you
want
come
your tax-
out, there'd be a hard to go there.
If you want to raise your taxes, just tax.
I know there
Hey,
was talk about having the private sector come in and do a joint thing with on
With
this
the
particular,
P3? Yeah.
on the building. Did that ever pan out, or it
No, and we kind of spent those 3 years looking at that possibility. And what happened at the very end was that our bond counsel told us that he had gone over to talk to the Attorney General, who has to approve our bonds, you know, our projects, our bonds. And so the Attorney General told him that he would not approve a general concept, general idea. It had to be specific, and we didn't have any specific plan. We were just talking in generalities. So he said, well,
Okay.
okay, we can't do that, then okay, let's do design build.
We got 20 minutes left, so enough of that yet? I want to make sure you get to Gunshot and give her plenty of time to tell us some of her
Okay,
highlights.
there goes that.
I want to hear her highlights about,
because
what
it
you
is
said.
a hot topic right now,
It is.
It
and
is?
it's something
Wow.
that we will probably need to address it in that way. If there's any clarification, as you mentioned earlier.
Let
Yes,
me
sir.
give my point of view.
all right.
It may be a hot pocket issue for gun users or people that use guns or have CDLs. But for someone that is not, it's not a hot, for me, it's not a hot topic.
Here's what I'm looking at it.
$100,000.
I'm not looking at it from a Second Amendment issue. I'm looking at it from a revenue issue. I'm the type of like I said, I'm a bottom line person. And it comes down to the point of money's there's we'll go into that whole concept, but it's for me it's always going to be a money issue. And so we can if you like we can go kind of rehash about what was going on.
And I'm not arguing with you. I'm just letting you know where I'm
Oh,
coming
no,
from.
that's cool.
My position on that is that, for you it's a hot issue, but for me it's not.
Well, let me explain it this way.
All right.
I think the gun show that takes place at the Expo Center is based on a contract that we have, just like other contracts that we have with people who rent the Expo Center. And yes, it's about 100,000 plus, you know, that we get from that. He has like 8 shows a year, and so January 25th this year will be the last show for the present contract. What's up for discussion is a new contract for 2014-15, and so to me, it's a contract, a negotiation that is going on, and I did not vote to ban. I did not vote to require anything that I don't have the authority to require. And so, but still, it's a contract. To me, it's a contract negotiation. It's not over, I don't think. And so they can still come to the table and work out details for it. And maybe the members of the court will have questions, you know, and then maybe they'll feel more comfortable about it, about the safety of the guns. And so the way I understand it is that they have.
I just carry mine. I don't worry about rules and regulations.
Oh, man.
What they have off-duty APD officers on the outside, circling the area to make sure that no illegal sales are going on outside. And if the people come up and they want to sell their guns, then they're told to go inside, where there are police officers as well.
Right.
And so, you know, we'll see what the Commissioner's Court says about that.
But did the court have legal statute authority to make these requirements, or was it just
Not for them to do background checks.
not to do background?
No.
And, and
They
just so,
don't-
just so that
can't-
people,
don't have the authority
I
to do
didn't see
that.
the debate or the discussions, but can you educate me on what brought this issue to the court? Was it the anti or the?
Yeah,
How did it end up
was-
at the
it
court?
I
not-
get, or if we want to, if we can kind of give a quick background to those people that may not know what's going on. Granted, we have a contract that's in place with Travis, with the Saga Gun Show for with Travis County, and one of the main contentions, and correct me if I'm wrong on this part, is the extending use of background checks for people that are private owners, as opposed to, or is it in addition to those that are federally authorized to go ahead and sell guns?
Well, that part I'm not real clear yet, because you know, it's a real, you gotta really follow, you know, all the little details on it. But I think what's in contention here is if that we ask for them to do background checks. And they've told us that that's very involved, and it takes a lot of manpower to do that. And so he says that he's got the people who are selling are already federally licensed.
Correct.
Most of the
So
vendors
most of them, yeah.
And they're already doing background checks.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
You have
With
I think
FFL,
they
you have
do.
to do a background
Right.
check.
When you
Yeah.
buy a gun, you have to do a background check, and I've
Yeah.
gone
If
through
you
several.
have an FFL.
Okay.
selling it.
Okay.
So what you say, I could go down there and sell my gun,
But you're a private owner.
yeah.
Right, and,
So I
and
can sell to anybody.
Yeah, but you'll be told to go inside to sell them.
That's right.
That's why I understand it. And in Texas, they allow you to sell them outside, but since the off-duty officers are outside, they're
That
gonna tell
are
you.
hired by Saxon, if I'm
Yes,
correct.
yeah, and so they're gonna tell you.
So the vendor hires these guys and makes you,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're gonna say, sir, go inside and sell, you know,
That's right.
and instead of out here. So, I mean, that's what I understand. So there's a lot of information for us to now consider, again, because the issue isn't.
So the
isn't
contract
done.
is under negotiations.
It's under.
It's not like what the media put out, no more gun shows, it's
No.
dead.
so what's the
No.
sticking
And
points
we-
on this contract?
And we didn't ban it.
Yeah,
We didn't ban them. If they don't have, and if they don't do it at Expo Center, they can go somewhere else in Travis County to do it. And the reason, I said, well, why do you have to have Expo Center? And I said, well, because it's comfortable, it's
Plenty of room
there's
to park.
parking, you know, and so they've had it there for several years, and that they're very comfortable with the place.
So how did the, in public, the county attorney advising the court that this is something y'all can do? Deny a group a rental of
Very
a
good.
No,
place
I didn't
based
hear that. I
from
didn't
the,
hear that.
because I know the, you know, the county attorney briefs y'all in public on these issues.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of curious what would give the county that kind of legal standing to tell this particular vendor, you know, you can't do this if you don't do X?
Yeah, and I didn't hear that. you
But
know.
would the court have that kind of authority?
We don't have the authority to
Okay.
add, to require.
Require, okay.
Background check.
So
Somebody cut that drop right there. Somebody,
you cut that part out too.
somebody cut that drop. We're gonna
Well,
get.
yeah, we need two things from you now, two sound bites.
Well,
I love it.
You can, it's okay if you quote me on that.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's my understanding
The public,
from the
the
briefing
discussion's
that I
gonna
had.
occur public regardless, you know. Eventually, the court will have to work once they come to signing a contract.
What
But I
are-
was just kinda curious, I don't know if they did
What
have the
are our
power. they
hangups on
didn't,
this contract right now?
you know.
No, because.
Did I miss that part?
It's
The requirement to have
requirement
background checks.
Right, the requirement to have
We
background
don't-
checks.
we
But
don't
you've
have
already
the
said that you don't really have authority to
We
do
don't
that.
have the authority to do that.
What it is that the whole contention came out in this part is that it's going back to where they say, okay, the states have the rules, the federal law has the rules, the states have the rules,
accomplish
and then you want to have cities who can override certain state laws. And this is one of those items because of whatever agenda that's being pushed, and I apologize for saying this, but it's one of these agendas that are being pushed by Austin, by the city of Austin, which is one of the reasons why we were having that big issue before, because you had city council wanting to do additional background checks,
You used
even
to have
though.
it in the city facility.
Exactly, and it was one of those contentions. So it's moving from the city now to the county, and if it's something, as the way I see it, if it's something that isn't necessary, then why are we doing it? You know, or if it's something, if they're already following the rule of law, then the rule of law should stand on there. I'm assuming that this is more along the lines, and somebody can probably correct me on this, that it's more along the lines for private sellers as opposed to.
That's what it is. 'Cause
Yeah.
if you have an FFL, then you have to fill that out
Correct,
regardless.
correct. And
Only
it's
private
those.
sellers is all we're talking about.
It
here.
would be like you trying to go sell your guns because you want to go sell your guns. So, and I understand that the argument comes up is they're trying to prevent the bad people from getting guns. But if we go back and look at some of the recent events,
Well,
there were. I mean, I'll put it to this way: how many?
got 11 minutes left,
Yes.
so-
How many massacres occur, or how many shootings occurred because
that's,
because
we're getting into a whole
of
other subject now.
Well, I was gonna say, I think we beat the gun issue.
Well, here's the big question for me. We have a potential, and this is something that we brought up off before the show started. $100,000 that is going to potentially be lost. Now I'm saying potentially
good point.
because it's money that would be coming to the convention center, part of the budget, that may or may not be already prescribed or set there. Potentially, because of this one little hang up, we may be losing $100,000 for the county.
So basically, she's asking,
We're-
we're not
who's
going to
g-
shoot ourselves in the foot over this, are we?
We're not. Yeah.
So
Are
to
we?
speak,
Are we going to be losing?
$100,000?
Yeah. Are we going to be losing? Are we going to be wanting or is the commissioner's office want to lose money for overriding a state and federal law, or
Well-
trying to add more law to a state and federal law that's already in place?
Well, first, let me say, this is a state issue.
Mm-hmm.
It is a federal issue. So we can't do anything about that. So we'll have to work something out on this contract, I'm sure. The other thing, if for some other reason we don't go through with this contract and we lose them as a tenant or a client, then we'll have to look for somebody else to rent the place, you know, and possibly make up for that revenue.
Does the convention center? Do the people that run the convention center
The
right now,
Expo Center?
or the expo center? Do the people that run the expo center right now? Do they already have plans to identify potential
Yes,
people that'll be coming in?
yes.
And would they be bringing in that or more than what the Saxon Gun Show can
We
bring in?
probably would want to bring in that same amount.
Okay.
And I understand that we have a lot of groups out there that want to
They're
rent the
already
place.
wanting to
Yeah, they're
take
already
the date.
waiting for there to be a vacancy so they can take.
Because Austin, while it's a small metropolitan city, it's not, there are a lot of events, but it doesn't have enough facilities
Right.
to house the events, so that's not gonna be that heavy a burden issue, because you'll find people out there that'll
Yeah.
rent the
And
facility.
it's not a bad price, I guess.
Oh,
It's
no.
No.
less than $10 for our weekend. You're sure
Yeah.
not going to get a
Just-
lot of
just-
other
Just don't
facilities.
look at the city rates and
Yeah.
wanna apply it to us,
Yeah,
to the
that's
county.
very important. Anyway, 9 minutes. I did want to give you, ma'am, a chance to tell us some of your highlights
Okay.
of your career, because when that clock says 58:30, we're off air.
Okay. Well, I'm running again because I believe that I'm very committed to this community. This is not a job that I take lightly. It's a job that I spend full time on, and I kind of move around this community quite a bit. Grocery store, church, out on the street, and people, I can never go incognito anywhere. And so people always approach me about.
You've been out there a long time.
Absolutely. And so they always approach me about one issue or another to ask me a question. But mostly it's about keep my taxes as low as you can. And so, yeah, I know that I've got to try to do that. Even though with the growing population, more people are coming in, they want more services, we're gonna need more roads, we're gonna need more of this and that. I mean, just a lot.
We're growing.
Yeah, we are. And so we need to cover all those. So what I assure people is, yeah, I'm going to keep your taxes as low as possible. I know that I've got to spend responsibly, and then the county government provides the meat and potatoes issues that we have to address. And so and remember that when your appraisals rise up, we always lower the tax rate so that we don't bring in all that we could bring in. And then remember that we return $77 million back to homeowners in terms of those homestead exemptions. So we have some savings for folks right off the top as we go into our budget. So we don't spend every single penny that we get in as revenue. And most of it is property taxes. And then, but we still have an $800 million budget. We are responsible for about all of the criminal justice system. So 3/4 of that budget goes to criminal justice, and it's courts, constables, JPs, the sheriff's office, law
3/4
enforcement.
that budget. That's
Quite a
That's
bit.
part of, that's a great deal of Lemberg's money.
I'm thinking, that's,
And we didn't even go into that one, but we'll,
yeah,
we'll leave that one alone.
But we cover all of the criminal justice system, and the jail, and we have to make sure that that jail is constitutional.
I could throw in here real quick.
So-
Our computer broke down, but we did have a bunch of pictures, but maybe we'll get them up later.
Oh, okay.
That's the computer.
Yeah.
That's why you didn't see them on there. All those
Okay.
pictures we had of you.
Okay. But I
Uh,
think the fact that I grew up in this community and people know me, I think that's one of the reasons that I know that I can't lie to people, and I know that I've got to do my job right, as well as I can, and be as fair and remember who I represent. This is my home, and it will continue to be my home, and so I don't want anybody to be ashamed of me.
Cool.
Well, as I said out there, I didn't mean to make anything personal, but you do seem to have been knowledgeable about every issue that's come across your desk.
Thank you.
And you're always out on the streets. Every event, me and Gavino or Gable's at, you're always out there. So I do know you'd be very active. I don't know where you get all this energy from, but
It's our passion to
It's my
do.
passion to
that's
serve.
do well.
good.
Yes.
And we could do a lot worse.
I know what I
That didn't sound right. That just didn't sound right at
Be
all.
better.
Well, there's nobody from my party running, so
Real quick one, because when you were mentioning the taxes,
I had to throw that in there.
one issue came to my mind real quickly, and that was the one on the, we jokingly call it the historical tax, the historical
Oh,
tax.
yeah.
I know that y'all also voted to either reduce it, or y'all did give it to them, right?
Yeah, we
Or-
did, because of longstanding practice, and, but I think we made some changes in there
Okay.
as well, to be a little more fair.
Right, 'cause I know, for example, right around Guadalupe,
Yeah.
all those homes, they were, I mean,
Yeah,
big time,
yeah,
taking advantage of the historical tax exemption.
Yeah.
You know, $1 million homes getting like,
well, they wanted to add more and more,
Mhm.
and we said, no, we can't add more.
don't they have some criteria to meet this?
Yeah, there is some real tight criteria.
Once they turn something, I know they turned some of those old homes into like offices, and it kind of destroys the value of some of them as far as historic homes.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, we got a couple more minutes left. We do appreciate you coming on here. And,
Well,
yeah.
thank you for inviting me.
It was a pleasure, you know, Gavino over here being all tough on her. Jeez.
So,
Yeah.
the winner in the March primary will basically be
Yeah.
the commissioner,
Yeah.
the incoming commissioner,
Right.
because you don't have a Republican
Right.
opponent.
Will you be debating, will there be any type of debates going on with Ms. Darla?
Not that I know of.
I don't know of any either. I tried like everything to get one right here, but
Yeah. And my favorite thing to do is to go out there and walk door to door and talk to people face to face. And they tell me straight out, you know, what they believe. And so I don't receive secondhand information. I receive, you know, direct information from them as to how they feel about the job I've been doing, so.
And we are gonna have our, our other 4th of July parade this coming
Okay,
year. So
okay.
we'll be inviting you again.
All
You've
right.
been joining us every
Very
year.
good, Yeah.
and I
So
hope
that's
having
what we do
a
for the
Republican
veterans.
like you doesn't hurt your chances any.
No.
Well, being LULAC, you know, being nonpartisan, we work with both.
Yeah.
And you have indeed been,
And make sure we're working on an education summit in East Austin. Hopefully,
okay.
Lieutenant Dewhurst offered to assist us.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna find out how true that was or is.
I don't think it's
But,
gonna
uh,
come out.
We'll get
too
Pat,
well.
we'll get
He's,
Patterson, we'll get Patterson to go ahead and help out.
But, you know,
Might have to get all of them because.
you know, Johnston Senior Precinct,
Yeah.
it's a school that's been failing for too many,
I know,
many years. So we have to
yeah.
do something about
Absolutely.
that to
Well,
cure
send me
that.
information
I
about
will-
that,
we will-
'cause I'd like
we'll
to
keep
see
you
what he has
in
to
touch,
say.
That's
about
a good
that.
idea.
Yeah, because it's gonna take everyone in the community to
Sure.
get that,
Oh,
that school
yeah.
back to academic
Oh,
standards.
yeah.
that,
Absolutely.
And it is we got about 2 minutes.
Okay.
It is a sad story about Johnson,
It is,
because that has been a part of the community out there
Right.
for,
right.
And those parents that live in the district and live within the boundaries, that have the, you know, the monies, that they take their kids to other schools. You know, they transfer out, and that only contributes to the low quality of education at Johnston, so.
Yeah.
But it can come back, you know, you have Manor.
It's gonna take a lot.
Look at Manor.
Oh, yeah.
Manor's an example of a school that
Oh,
can
absolutely.
succeed,
Yeah.
you know. It's
Yeah.
not the kids, it's not their status, it's
well, they had that
the
fancy school
opportunity.
out
It's the
there.
academic
Well, it's the kid,
opportunity
it's the
that's out
kid,
there.
but it's the kids that want to do well.
Yes.
It's the kids that want to do well because there's parents out there that want them to do well. And for me, that's always been a key. It's got to be, the parents have to be interactive in some fashion or more than what they're doing right now in order for the kids to do better. It doesn't matter how bad the school is. I went to one of the worst schools in El Paso, and
Yeah.
I did really well. Okay, my daughter went to one of the best schools in El Paso. Also, she did okay. You know, she's down over here in Manor, and she's doing excellent. You know, but it's because she has the motivation to go ahead and want to do better.
Well, we got
He's
about
got-
45 seconds. Any announcements or anything? I had several of them. I forgot what they were.
No show
Ken White
on,
is having a party coming up soon.
no show on Martin Luther King Day.
No show next Monday. Monday after that.
Okay.
Still got Sarah.
We have something big going on for the 3rd, involving Freedom Works and Travis County Republican Party.
That's right. We are going to try to bring some Freedom Works. Anyway, that's
So Whitney, if you're watching, I'm going to be emailing you pretty soon, so be prepared. We got some good stuff that's going to be happening on that one, and I think we're going to be bringing in Williamson County to come in. So, but we want
I
to thank
have
you
my
for being here.
LULAC, I can't make a comment on that one.
Cool.
I'll be
Well, we want to thank
nonpartisan.
you for being here. Ms. Gomez, thank you very much
Thank you
for being here. It's a
Thank you
pleasure and
for
an
doing
honor.
this. It's
we
nice
do
to have you
appreciate
here.
that. And we're going to have you on again sometime.
All right.
Cool.
Anyway, well.
Bam.